Yeah, I see what else going on. Yeah. Welcome back. Yes, sir. Hey, I'm glad y'all back. Ball still roll. Let's get into it. I reviewed something from this fragrance house already. That time was all about Jazz Club, and this time it's all about fall specifically, all right? Today we're talking about autumn vibes, all right? I'm going to go over the presentation, the notes that make up this fragrance, who's this for, and ultimately, should you blind buy this, all right? So the question here isn't just whether or not this is a great fall scent, which it definitely is in my opinion, but does this smell like fall? See, there's a slight difference there. This is about recreating a moment as opposed to whether this is a great choice for a fall fragrance or not. So if you didn't catch my last video on Maison Margiela's replica line of fragrances, or even heard of Maison Margiela at all, I'm gonna give you a little quick history on the brand and this line, all right? Maison Margiela, formerly known as Maison Martin Margiela, is a French luxury fashion house headquartered in Paris, founded in 1988 by Belgian designer Martin Margiela, all right? The brand is known for the deconstructive and cutting-edge design, using some unique materials to create their pieces, Now, this is where some of this ties into this line of fragrances that explore a moment in time and using your sense of smell, all right? From MMG's own mouth, Autumn Vibes evokes a pure moment, escape, and contemplation in the underwood of an autumn forest. The sound of colorful leaves and acorns crisping beneath heavy footsteps. The breath of fresh air and woody trail of the ancient trees. The delight of being at one with nature, all right? Poetic, all right? Now, let's talk about the presentation. But before I do, go ahead and knock that like button out the park. Just tap the screen and hit the like button when it pops up. Click the thumbs up icon, all right? And if you haven't already subscribed, no time better than the present. And for those of you that already subscribed and locked in with your boy, look, the channel just hit 500 subs the other day. You know what I'm saying? Out of sight. You know what I'm saying? You could be anywhere on the net, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? You solid, all right? As far as the presentation, we have a round, clear glass bottle. Very simple, very understated. Has this fabric label with the fragrance information printed on the bottle. At the top, the bottle has this cord wrapped around. It has this whole vintage apothecary feel. On the front of the label, it says replica, reproduction of familiar scents and moments of varying locations and periods. Underneath that, it reads originally Autumn Vibes, which is the name of this fragrance, aka the location it represents, provenance and period, Montreal, 2018, fragrance description, woody trail and red leaves, style description, memory and a fragrance. All right, flipping the bottle over here, we have a clear sticker that lets you know that this was made in France, and a batch code, So as far as this atomizer, this doesn't come with a cap, it just comes like this, naked. The atomizer has a vintage shake sprayer and silver metallic plastic. Let's get a quick spritzer. Great distribution. So for those note breakdowns, in the top you have pink peppercorn, cardamom, coriander, and in the mids you have some carrot seeds, nutmeg, olibanum, and then in the base you have some cedar wood, moss, fir balsam, and some labdanum, and a little resin. In the opening, you immediately get that blend of cardamom and pink peppercorn. All right, the peppercorn is very forward and crafts a very spicy opening. I'm not super familiar with coriander, but I imagine it adds to the spicy accord. All of these notes create this crisp, woody kind of woodsy smell. In the mids, the carrot seeds and the olibanum, again, I'm not very keen on these profiles, but I can sense the nutmeg here playing off of that spicy opening still, which is like the majority of the fragrance for the first few minutes, but it lasts throughout the entirety of the fragrance. But nutmeg is definitely a fall scent that you can pick up in here. So in the dry down, this lays down a solid cedar note. Has a pine needle note from the balsam, playing up that kind of nature vibe. It's pleasing fragrance to me. And if you can't tell by now, I love woody fragrances. This is a decent performer and pretty typical in the longevity of this fragrance. So I'm getting about 7 to 8 hours on the skin, and at that, sitting very close to the skin, probably a little bit more to arm's length. So spraying this on your clothes, you're probably gonna get another hour or so, which is very typical. You know, this is your average performer overall. It's not weak, it's not beast mode. All right, so for the projection, maybe about an hour, maybe a bit less, this scent is going to end up sitting closer to the skin the majority of the time, but it still works really well when it comes to performance. You know, this does remind me a bit of Santal 33 with the cardamom note that sits a little bit closer to the skin, but it's airy and wispy. Now, as far as the sillage works pretty well here. It's like I said, it's wispy. The cardamom has a way of projecting, kind of sitting, kind of hanging in the air. You know, it elevates some of the other spicy notes here and helps out a bit with projection. When to wear this is definitely self-explanatory. Autumn, aka fall, for sure this is gonna work. You know, winter, early springtime, I wouldn't necessarily reach for this in the summer. The woody notes are just a little bit too humid and sticky, you know what I'm saying? So who's this for? This is for like late 20s and up crowd. This is a bit more mature smelling because of the spices here. Sits in the middle as far as leaning masculine and feminine. It may seem more like it could come across as a masculine appeal because of the woods here, but it's going to work either way you go, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, this is going to work for somebody who is looking for something that smells like the fall. Not necessarily someone who is looking for your typical fall fragrance. You have to be into crisp, spicy, dry, woody notes. So all things considered, in my opinion, this works. When I spray this on, I smell it, I can sense the red leaves from the trees. It paints a pretty realistic picture for me, the way that the notes come together. I am somewhat partial to replica fragrances, I must say. I love the whole concept, but also because of how much detail is squeezed out of these notes. On top of all of that, they smell great. Now, for the price point, now you're gonna have to crack open that coin pouch for this one. You know, it's not bad though. The 30 mil is about $75 and 100 mil is around $145. Now, this is by no means a cheap buy because I would definitely pay no mind and only consider getting 100 mil because it's a much better deal. So where can you buy this? You can look online, some discounters for the cheapest prices. Maybe check eBay and, you know, to find it for cheaper. Maybe get your hands on a partially used bottle or something. But you would definitely be able to find this at Sephora, Ulta, Nordstrom. Just Google it, all right? Should you go blind by this? This is not something I would recommend for a blind buy, even though I love it. You know, you may not like it, and at $145 is $145, and if you got them coins, you go ahead and spend it if you want. I think this is a great fragrance. I think if you can go smell this at a local fragrance counter, on the Sephora or whatever, you know, maybe get you a free decant, put it on, see if it works for you, try it out that way. I'm feeling the replica autumn vibe tings. I have some more videos on the way, along with some other great fragrances on this channel. Go ahead and click one of them up there and go ahead and check it out. If you're new, I appreciate you. If you've been here, I appreciate you. You're MVPs in my book. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and slide up out here, subscribe, hit the bell, come back and lock in with your boy. We're gonna keep the ball rolling. Dooskies. Yeah, I see what I was going on.